But there's stories that have to be told. The truth needs to come out. A man lost his life. So much more went on. Physically have seen. But see, when I started talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce, oh, some toes will curl for sure. But hey, the truth is the truth.
They put in the paper that I had pneumonia, or God knows what.
The industry is a monster. I'm telling you something that you need to know. I'm trying to explain to you what you're seeing. You don't understand what you're seeing.
It all circles back to Dave Chappelle, right when he warned everyone that a lot of the celebrities people worship aren't what they seem once the cameras shut off. And now this whole situation involving Beyonce's former bodyguard, Uncle Ron, is lining up way too clean for people to ignore. Uncle Ron reportedly handled security for Beyonce, Jay-Z, and even Diddy, and he suddenly started making noise online with some heavy claims that caught a lot of attention. Not long after those posts started spreading, news broke that he had passed away, and the timing instantly raised eyebrows. What really shook people is that his official cause of death is still listed as unknown, while online chatter says he had been diagnosed with pneumonia shortly before he died. And if you've been watching closely, you already know pneumonia keeps showing up in a lot of these questionable Hollywood deaths, which feels way too familiar. Dave Chappelle once claimed that after he left for Africa, rumors started floating around that he had pneumonia too, almost like a story was being planted ahead of time in case something happened to him. What's making this even more unsettling is that clips have resurfaced showing Uncle Ron talking directly to his followers, warning that the same powerful figures he was calling out would try to silence him. Now, people are connecting the dots fast, tying this tragedy back to what Dave Chappelle has been saying for years, that there are elite industry players who will go to extreme lengths to shut down anyone who threatens to speak out.
Because now they have proof. I have physically showed them proof. Things that I have witnessed, things that was told to me.
Uncle Ron really started shaking things up back in 2023 when he launched his TikTok series called Tales of a Bodyguard, and right away, people were locked in. In those videos, he made it clear he was speaking from first-hand experience, claiming he had been inside the inner circle and had stories involving Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Diddy. One clip in particular went viral fast, where Uncle Ron described Beyonce and Jay-Z's marriage as transactional, straight up saying they'd step on anyone if it helped them get ahead. That alone had people gasping, but he didn't stop there.
Beyonce and Jay-Z will do anything to destroy anyone who speaks out against them. Okay, I get the threats, but you have to remember one thing. I know your deepest secrets. I know so much about you and what you've done. I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people. Beyonce, how you guys ended Carrie Hilson's career because she said something about you.
Uncle Ron took it even further and openly challenged Jay-Z to come out and say he didn't know him. And the way he said it, calm, confident, almost daring. It sounded like someone who wasn't bluffing, like he'd seen things, knew things, and had receipts ready to drop if he was pushed.
I ain't Beanie Siegels. I ain't Freeway. How you wrote all them off the minute they did for you to get you to the top. All them writing for you, and then the minute you get a little taste of success, you wrote them off. You just totally said, I don't know him. Say you don't know me. I dare you. I dare you. Remember, all the receipts, all the proof, the old school footage, I still have it.
Now let's be real for a second. If Uncle Ron was just running his mouth and spreading baseless rumors, would he really have the nerve to call out Jay-Z like that? This is Jay-Z we're talking about, a man with teams of lawyers who could shut someone down in a heartbeat if they were lying. People still remember when Beyonce and Jay-Z reportedly pushed Piers Morgan to apologize just for giving Jaguar Wright a platform to speak.
He made several serious allegations about Jay-Z and Beyonce during that interview. As I said in the moment, they were not present to respond or defend themselves, but now they have. Their lawyers contacted us to say that those claims were totally false and have no basis in fact, and we've therefore complied with the legal request to cut them from the original interview. And us too. And we apologize to Jay-Z and Beyonce.
So the confidence Uncle Ron showed, knowing how powerful they are, had folks giving the whole situation major side-eye. Of course, critics jumped in fast, calling Uncle Ron a liar and a clout chaser, even claiming he never worked as Beyonce's bodyguard. But here's where it gets interesting. According to Media Takeout, Uncle Ron did work security for multiple celebrities, and old photos from a 2004 fashion event show him standing right next to Beyonce. Still, some people question why he stayed silent for so many years, and that just added another layer to the controversy. People also came at Uncle Ron hard, accusing him of riding the wave of the Diddy drama and using his alleged ties to the Carters for clicks and attention. But Uncle Ron addressed that straight on and said the real reason he stayed quiet back then was fear. He explained that he had young children at the time and didn't feel safe speaking out because he was worried about protecting his family.
So many people have asked me why I waited 20 years or so long to come out and start talking and telling about the things that have happened in the industry. The most important reason why is I had children, and I still have children. But at that point in time, they were young, and my number one priority was protecting my children. I care less about the stuff that went on in the industry at that point in time. For as money, it was never about money, and it's still not about money. I have money.
And honestly, that explanation hits different. There are plenty of people with way more money, power, and protection than Uncle Ron who stayed silent for decades about what they saw in that industry.
But there's stories that have to be told. The truth needs to come out. A man lost his life. So much more went on. Physically have seen Diddy indulging in gay activities. I'm not bashing him, directly bashing him. I'm just telling the truth. He knows like I know. Gene knows like I know. Boo knows like I know. William knows. Bodyguards that were around him know. See, I had my own company, so I didn't need him. I didn't have to take his stuff. The bull crap that came along with being around Diddy.
So if even they were scared to talk, it's not hard to believe a bodyguard would be worried about retaliation too. Especially when everyone knows powerful figures don't have to get their hands dirty to ruin someone's life. What really caught people's attention is that Uncle Ron said the real backlash didn't start until he mentioned Jay-Z and Beyonce by name. That's when the energy completely shifted. Suddenly, people were swarming him, calling him a liar, questioning his past, and trying to discredit everything he said. And let's be honest, once Beyonce's name comes up, things get intense fast. She has one of the most fiercely loyal fan bases out there, and some supporters will defend her no matter what.
But see, when I started talking about Jay-Z and Beyonce, some toes will curl for sure. But hey, the truth is the truth, whether you believe it or not. Yeah, I'm on an investigation. So that's why I'm telling what I'm telling. Because now they have proof. I have physically showed them proof. Things that I have witnessed, things that was told to me. And yeah, of course, it's coming out. And I don't feel ashamed for saying what I've said or done what I've done. Because at the end of the day, I sleep good at night.
So now the big question is this. Was Uncle Ron just talking reckless, or was he touching on something that certain powerful people didn't want exposed? People can decide that on their own, but one thing stands out. Uncle Ron's passing raised serious questions, especially since it happened not long after his videos went viral and his claims about the Carters started spreading. He passed away unexpectedly in September 2024, and the timing had people paying close attention because it lined up with when online discussions about Jay-Z and Beyonce's connection to Diddy really started heating up. Uncle Ron's wife later confirmed the heartbreaking news on his official TikTok account and shared a short but emotional message. She wrote, "I would like to inform everyone on TikTok of my husband's passing. Uncle Ron will always be remembered and loved." After that post, things went completely quiet, and his family hasn't publicly confirmed an official cause of death at all. But then the situation took an even stranger turn. Comedian Samson Kroon claimed he heard from people close to Uncle Ron that he allegedly passed away after showing symptoms of pneumonia. That instantly set off alarms online, especially given everything else surrounding this case.
Patriots, I have this update just in. Someone in my comments, thank you, asked me, how did Uncle Ron die? I have some answers. Now, This is where it gets a little crazy. He died last month. He was only 59 years old, very young. Some people are whirling around that he died of that same pneumonia that Kim Porter had. Sounds a little bit shady. Sounds like maybe the diddler had him taken care of, because here's something real crazy.
Crewin also said he tried reaching out to Uncle Ron's family directly to get clarity on what really happened. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. People noticed that whenever questions about the cause of death started popping up in the TikTok comments, those comments appeared to be deleted. That silence only made people more suspicious. Now everyone's wondering why no one is addressing it head on and what details might be getting kept behind closed doors.
I had myself and my people reach out to his family because his TikTok page is still active, and people in the comments are asking, what happened to Uncle Ron? What happened? What is the family doing? Deleting all of the comments. If you go over to Uncle Ron's TikTok page, try this, Patriots. I did it. Say, what happened to Ron? How did he expire? They delete your question. Why? Because they want to keep their family members safe and everyone else in their life that they care about, because the diddler is not done with his nastiness.
The moment the word pneumonia started circulating, concern exploded online. That's because Uncle Ron's name is now being added to a growing list of people connected to the entertainment industry who reportedly passed away from pneumonia, a condition that usually isn't fatal unless there are serious underlying health issues. And with Hollywood's long history of questionable deaths, people are connecting dots whether anyone likes it or not. Diddy's ex, Kim Porter, passed away at just 47, and her death was ruled as lobar pneumonia by the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner. Actress Brittany Murphy and her husband Simon Monjack were also said to have died from pneumonia, with prescription medication intoxication listed as a contributing factor. Taken together, it's no surprise that people are asking questions because the pattern feels way too familiar for comfort. Then there's actress Nicole DeHuff, known for her role in Meet the Parents. She passed away at just 30 years old after what was first called a misdiagnosed respiratory illness, later identified as pneumonia. That alone made people pause, but the list doesn't stop there. Whitney Houston's daughter, Bobby Christina, also had lobar pneumonia listed in her autopsy report as the cause of death, the exact same type of pneumonia that Kim Porter was said to have. And more recently, actor Val Kilmer passed away following complications connected to pneumonia too. Now let's be clear. Nobody is saying pneumonia isn't real or that it can't be dangerous, because it absolutely can be. But what people can't ignore is how often it keeps popping up in Hollywood deaths, especially involving people who weren't elderly or visibly struggling with severe health issues. Think about it for a second. How many relatively young, seemingly healthy people do you personally know who suddenly died from pneumonia? For most folks, that's rare. Yet in Hollywood, it shows up again and again like a repeating pattern that makes people uncomfortable. So when fans heard that Uncle Ron allegedly passed away from pneumonia right after talking about receipts and old footage he claimed to have involving Jay-Z and Beyonce, people immediately raised eyebrows. The timing alone felt way too close for comfort. And that brings everything back to Dave Chappelle. Remember when he walked away from that reportedly shady $50 million Comedy Central deal and left for Africa? While he was gone, tabloid stories started popping up claiming Dave had pneumonia, and that's why he disappeared. Dave later shut that down himself, explaining the real reason he left was because powerful people were trying to convince him he was mentally unwell and pressured him to take antipsychotic medication. When you stack all of this together, it's no wonder people feel uneasy and keep asking questions that nobody seems eager to answer. But now, knowing what we know about how often pneumonia keeps showing up in celebrity deaths, it really makes you stop and think. Were those old tabloid stories claiming Dave Chappelle had pneumonia just harmless gossip, or were they meant to condition the public so that if something strange ever happened, people would instantly accept that explanation? Now let's be clear, this is all speculation. Everyone is free to come to their own conclusions, but at the same time, it's getting harder and harder to brush off the timing, the similarities, and the repeating patterns. That's not jumping to wild conclusions. That's just paying attention and using basic common sense. So what do you think? Does Uncle Ron's death feel suspicious to you, especially considering everything he was saying right before he passed? And how do you feel about this whole pneumonia pattern that keeps showing up again and again in the industry? Why does it seem like the same explanation keeps getting recycled for so many different situations? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this conversation isn't over. If this video made you think, make sure you like, subscribe, and share it so more people can hear about this. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the next breakdown, and as always, rest in peace to Uncle Ron.